Hey, welcome to ATI ProMedia. We are live at 9. Thanks for joining us today. It's Friday, January 17th. Oh, yeah, thank goodness. Glad Friday's here. Out with the old, in with the new here going forward. Let's jump into your markets here. We'll quote them up real quick and then we'll get into the show. March corn's up 5 cents, 479 and a half, testing those highs. Beans are bouncing back. March beans up 8 cents. Down in the back months, though, kind of interesting on the board. Up in the front, down in the back. Soy oil is up 20 points. Soy meal's up $1.20. Chicago wheat's down 2 cents, 535 and a half. KC wheat, March KC at 547, down a penny and a quarter. Feeder cattle leaking lower, down a buck on the feeders. Live cattle down 25 to 70 points. When we look over at lean hogs, we're down 40 in the Feb and down 95 points in the April. Looking over at crude, crude's flat. Diesel's pretty flat as well. Nat gas down 24 cents. Energy markets continue to move. Looking over at the Dow, your equity markets, the Dow is up 325 points, the S&P up 50 points, the NASDAQ up 295, Bitcoin up 3,000, 103,955 on Bitcoin. Oh, something's always moving here. Let's go through the headlines, Connor B. Get in here. Let's talk about what we got going on here this week. Happy Friday, Connor.
Let's do it. Happy Friday to you. So get through the headlines, but Brady, I got to be honest with you. I'm staring at March corn, right? We're really testing, I think we've tried it twice now. Pullback yesterday. This market's not done. We're rallying. That'd be a great way to end the Friday if we can break through that 480 level. But let's talk about that at the end.
Okay.
First one, just a couple headlines. First one I have is Rosario Grain Exchange cut 24-25 corn production. We saw them also pull back. Here I just have crop conditions compared to last year, right? And or last week, right? We were pulling back on corn conditions and we're seeing it. Generally nothing extreme, but weaker than last year as well. And so that will be a continuing story. And one of those, right? Are the rains going to come toward the last half of January?
Yeah, interesting. I got a map here for you. Look at that red. This is root zone soil moisture, GRACE satellite data here, pulling that up. Look at Argentina and that southern Brazil area. Definitely some deficit down there. From our friends at T-Storm Weather, they got a stat, was reading 89% of corn, Argentine corn, the last 30 days has been drier than normal, and 86% of Argentine beans drier than normal the last 30 days. So that story continues to develop in the southern part of South America. Let me flash that graphic up too. We talked about Mato Grosso up there, and they're kind of flirting on that red in the northern part of Brazil too.
Yeah, not quite as wet. That doesn't show quite the moisture that maybe other charts are seeing. We talked about kind of the tale of two cities, right? As they're harvesting, if they get a little too much moisture and it affects that second corn crop, that can be a big deal. But looking at Rosario Grain Exchange, cut corn production to 48 million metric ton. Previously, they were at 50. We started the year off at 52. So continually, sliding that. And my gosh, Brady, is that the trend for we're seeing corn estimates. We saw it in a big way in the United States. We're seeing Argentina pull back. Too early to tell. We've got that first corn crop in Brazil. And not to say it doesn't matter, but the one that matters to us is going to be that Safrinha corn crop, that second corn crop, right? That's the main one they export. And that's the one that really gets the headlines. But
yep, I pulled in a map there just for anybody unfamiliar with where the bulk of that Safrinha corn is produced. A lot of it produced in Mato Grosso. 47% of second season Safrinha corn production produced in Mato Grosso. That's 76% of their annual crop typically in Brazil. Big piece of their corn crop comes out of that Mato Grosso area. So beans coming out, Safrinha going in. A lot of things happening on the production side in the southern hemisphere.
Right. So other one we had a headline from Reuters, and it's interesting that it was Chinese buyers switched to cheaper Brazilian soybeans ahead of Trump return. And so, I know what the article was trying to convey, but I almost look at it a different way.
Okay.
And here I'll pull up this chart. It's the same thing, right? China soybean imports over the past couple of years. We know the story, right? They're not buying as much from the United States. They're buying more from Brazil. And so now, right, they're switching to Brazil soybeans. Okay. every year when Brazil harvests their soybean crop, right? We see them switch to Brazil. That's not unique for
Like
this year.
type deal, kind of intention, story, building a narrative. Is that kind of what your thoughts are there, Connor?
I think so, right? And so if we see tariffs, right, it is not like we don't have to go back to. It's not like 2017 where China was buying the vast majority of their soybeans from the United States, right? We're in a different area, and so time will tell, right? Looking at those tariffs, we got Trump in office Monday. Reminder: markets are closed. Martin Luther King Day. We do open for a night trade Monday evening, and so I am sure the headlines are going to be. We're not going to be struggling for headlines come Tuesday, I think, Brady.
Yep, going to be an exciting week, interesting week. On political note as well, have a ceasefire deal nearing approval in the Gaza. We hinted about it a little bit yesterday. Looks like that's continuing to press forward and may have something official here today. Trump has been real adamant about getting that tied off before he takes office. So he's been very much pushing, hey, take care of this, get this done before I take oath next week. And he's ready to get that behind him. And then I think he's got a meeting scheduled with Putin as well. So going to be a ton of headlines next week on the geopolitical macro market front. But going to be interesting how these markets react and move with all those headlines and changes.
Speaking of how markets react and move, my mind's on the headlines, but I'm looking at the technicals. Do you want to walk through and just look at like a March corn chart real quick? I feel like that's what's on my mind this morning, Brady.
Okay, let's pull it in here and look at a chart. See what we got here loaded up. March corn out of the gate, Connor B.
And so it's been, Friday and Monday had the positive news to, the balance sheet changed very quickly. Things got tighter. The market reacted. We saw that rally Friday and then Monday down a little bit Tuesday. But as you can see, this week has really been, testing that technical level. And I think it's right at 480, which we're at 479 3/4. We're doing this.
Yep, we actually tagged 480, so we took out that earlier week high there. So that we're on the highs of the week, Connor B. That's a great close, great strong way to end the week here. So good thing for corn, King Corn. Keep going, going, King Corn.
And let's say, hey, let's be positive, right? We break through that 480, zoom out a little bit, right? Do we have room to breathe above it, right? Maybe.
Very much so. I know, there's been a lot of chatter about, 485, 490 type of level. I could see that being the next point of contention. Typically when you have these rallies, 10, 15 cent type increments, especially with those numbers that end in zeros can be your resistance. So maybe that's 490 and then maybe it's $5. Those would be kind of obvious ones to me, Connor B.
Yep.
But still, we're back to levels that we saw in May. So if you sold March corn in May, you're still ahead of the game here today, Connor B.
Good stuff. I look at for these 25 corn, the level, I think it's at see if the chart disagrees, but kind of that 460 level is is where I'm looking at. We're a little bit, we're not quite knocking on the door. We're at 454 for December corn, but a little bit below 460, isn't it?
Yeah, just a tick below there. 200-day moving average has been contention here, was contention back in May as well. Then we sold off yesterday, tagged that 9-day, but have held above it. So it'd be great if we could close the week above the 200, but maybe that has to wait till next week. Regardless, though, it's nice levels to look at here.
Yeah, definitely. Well, good stuff. Any other ones you want to look at?
I want
the March one's the one that's on my mind.
Okay, yeah, old crop grain definitely a big thing. New crop presents some opportunities as well. I want to look at cattle too.
Yeah.
Real quick. Before I do that, though, I want to pull in this index. Look at this feeder cattle. This is feeder cattle index data for Wednesday. 278.31 is the reported average on the index. The daily data for Wednesday was 280.54. So that's going to be on there for 7 days and continue to lift that index up. And that January contract's going to settle to the index here at the end of the month. So 15 days left of actual days, less trading days, of course, for that Jan futures to move around. Let's look at, Jan's probably not the month to look at technical type levels on feeder cattle. Maybe more so the March, because that's where the volume's at and the limited time frame that Jan has to actually move. It's going to converge to the cash. But yeah, great levels out there. Testing the 9-day. I always look at 9-day, the extension above the 20-day. How far above are we? You can kind of see those moving average tend to diverge and converge at times. So when you get that extension up there, those are oftentimes opportunities. But it continues bottom left to top right. Bullish until it's not, Connor B.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Well, what else do we got, Brady?
One more deal on the chart side. This is that Jan-March spread on the feeder cattle. Look at this bad boy. So we've talked about this, that January, are you in the right month? If you're selling your cattle in January, that's fine to be in Jan. But if you're not moving your feeders in Jan, this index, it may not be the right month to be in and have your hedge in. That thing's just widened out, premium to January. Pretty wild spread action going on there.
Right.
Anyway.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well,
that's all I got.
We'll see, right? Let's have a Friday. Let's see some good closes. Be nice to see, right? Still hanging up.
So Connor, you got a tweet of the week here for us?
I do. Good. Yeah, I almost forgot that, right? My tweet of the week. I almost pulled in a Donald Trump tweet, but I feel like we're gonna have some zingers in the next couple of weeks. I'm gonna say this. I got this one from Tyne Morgan. She puts out great stuff from AgWeb. They did a poll where where are they going to rank cost savings options for 25 from unlikely to likely to be implemented on your farm. So really no surprise, the most likely is going to be we're going to go to generic products. We're going to reduce machinery. Things can change, but maybe not a good day, not a good year again for the implement dealer. But yeah, so on the bottom of that is we're going to in terms of crop rotation or anything like that. But yeah, so reduced machinery purchases was number one in terms of cost-saving measures to be implemented on your farm.
Okay, interesting. And we saw a bunch of that last year with that tractor sales data fading last year. You can do as much as you want one year, but I guess you're going to have to do it again the next year too. And will we see that trend continue? I don't know. Right. $5 corn might buy some new machinery and pickups though, so maybe we can get there.
Exactly.
Hey, I got a tweet too. I pulled one in. We got a double dose of you. Mine's a little more lighthearted here, but Saddle Tramp, your coffee is vital for survival. Dinosaurs didn't have coffee, and look how that turned out.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I'm a big coffee drinker. I got to have my coffee and my Go Juice every morning, Connor. All same.
Absolutely. Look, Joe's taking a drink in his down below. Well, good stuff. Well, let's go ahead and wrap it up, right? Okay. We'll see. As always, drop us any questions, any comments, anything like that. We'll be happy to answer them.
Hey, let's talk premium real quick. Did we load anything in? Okay. I don't know if we loaded the thumbnail up, but we did talk about, basically back to basics, right, Connor B, on yesterday's premium. What's a put option and how does it fit in your marketing plan? Just kind of walk through some of the basics there. We'll do a week recap here for today's premium. We appreciate all our premium subscribers, and thanks for being a premium subscriber. Thanks for being a customer, and thanks for joining us here every day live at 9. We'll be back Tuesday for an exciting week. Markets open Monday night, overnight. Strong close here on corn. Hopefully we can hold it into the end of the week, but on the highs of the week, going in on a Friday. That's good to see. 3-day weekend. Got any closing comments before we wrap it up, Connor B? I'll let you click the button.
Okay, good stuff. Yeah, we'll go ahead and we'll leave it with Farmer Brett. He says, corn to the moon. I like that. Sounds good. Hey, everyone have a great weekend.
We'll see y'all.
See ya.